we haven't had a chance to talk to, and please don't leave without us getting a picture with you and chatting with you a little bit, because that would just be so sad for us. Thank you so much for coming. We did want to try something a little new in this fan event. We've done a lot of these, but we're trying something new here tonight because we have the best fans. Don't put that on the internet. In St. John. It's amazing. I've met a few people here tonight who said that my sister was their first dealer. So thank you very much.
And now, the parking lot of...
Yeah, now we thank Anna Banana for continuing that grand tradition. But yeah, so we wanted to try something a little new, and Ilana and I have been asked to speak at MommyCon next month in Texas. And it's like an hour-long presentation, and we wanted to do like a little mini version here, just like 10 minutes or so, with some things that are very dear to our hearts that we hope can be touching to everyone here. So did you want to thank everyone?
Yes, I did. I wanted to thank, first of all, Anna Banana and all the amazing staff, and Jean.
Didn't forget look at the banner, guys!
Yeah, it's amazing, that banner that they did for us, and just all the detail. Erin did the beautiful cupcakes over there,
and
the
so
banner,
and
like put her heart and soul into this, the way she does everything else.
Yeah.
And you know, Sue, of course, the sister in business. That was your turn. For hosting us, for helping us organize, and Amanda as well. You guys did such an amazing job, and all the food.
And Trisha who left.
And Trisha who left. Bye, Trisha.
She had to go home.
We're not thanking her for anything. No, she had children called, and all of you really for showing up and for building such an amazing community here. As Amy mentioned, this is something new, and for. Oh yeah, okay. She's going to introduce us. I don't know about that part. Well, actually, first let me say, though, to say what we're doing here. Amy and I have been floating around an idea for a little while that we're going to sit down and write a book together based on, and we initially thought it was going to be like our experience of building AppleCheeks, but then we realized that the message we have to bring forward to the world is really the message of womanhood and motherhood and everything. That it's so much broader and so much more interesting than just what happened to build our AppleCheeks success. And I don't know if you've all seen, but we qualified.
We were named
one of number 69. The
number 69.
The top 100 Canadian female entrepreneurs, and we sort of took that as a sign that now's the time to start working on our message to get it out there. So if you're not all already following Amy and Ilana on Facebook, please go ahead and do so.
It's a brand new page, Amy and Ilana on Facebook.
Yes, exactly. And so we're starting there, and this is really like our inaugural kind of presenting ourselves under this banner kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
literally.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of, as she said, like a little snapshot of the larger message, the larger presentation that we're going to be doing at Austin, and we're really, really grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah.
That's you. No, you're not doing that.
She has one mandate, not to cry. Let's see how it goes.
It's a total setup.
Not fair.
I think I know a lot of people in this room, and I think you guys, a lot of you already know these ladies. But just as a quick intro, Ilana is a mother to 3 beautiful girls. Fierce, she would say, I guess. She's enthusiastic in her wellness advocacy for herself, her kids, and for many people around her and people who know her, whether it's through the AppleCheeks community or in her own community. She enjoys unofficially mentoring so many women, really across North America, it seems.
Yeah, that's right. She's amazing.
And encouraging them to find what?
She's amazing.
She's totally amazing.
Totally amazing.
And encouraging women to find and express their own voices and to live their own truths. I know she's helped me in that way. Shoot!
What? Yes!
She's crying!
Surprise! She's the co-creator of...
Shock! Here! Help your mom!
She's the co-creator of and co-owner of AppleCheeks. You shouldn't have asked.
Failed.
been a big part of my life. You already said for which her and her partner were recently named number 69.
We didn't choose that number. They assigned it to us. Did you see our yin and yang photo that we did? Just saying.
So I want to wish them a big congratulations because I haven't had the chance to do that in person yet for that honor.
Your glasses are legit fogging up.
Does this look better on camera? And yes, she's my sister in business, but also my friend.
This is where it gets good. For the crying.
Amy is the other partner, the mother of 3 strapping nephews of mine, and beautiful boys, as well as 1 strong girl. She's got to be to keep up with them.
Yep.
Amy enjoys any and all outdoor activities and has a strong base of friends and I think family that help her to that enrich her life and help her to have a strong base on which to live a good life, and I think full of love. She is the co-creator of AppleCheeks, and the company has
Hold it together, Sue.
I know. It's not just work, it's a passion.
Oh my gosh.
I actually we came to St. John just to
This is the presentation, everybody.
That's it, thanks for coming.
It gives her many opportunities to travel, but also to talk to so many amazing women. And she takes inspiration from all of you, so take the opportunity to chat with her because she loves nothing more than to talk.
I like listening to. Okay, good.
Thank you very much, Sue.
So,
Okay, so before we launch into the topic of the discussion,
everyone can hear?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear? Yeah, okay, great.
yeah, my husband tells me I don't project my voice, I just raise it. So if this is actually the case, then please let me know if you can't hear me. Amy and I she gave us our qualifications, in terms of, the business ownership, the motherhood, the womanhood. But I think it's very important to note that we are women of a certain age, of a threshold age. I didn't say what the age was. I'm older, slightly.
Much older.
And what being women of our particular age and having older kids has given us is a lot of perspective. And that's kind of why that we felt it was the time to launch this project, because we have enough years under our belt and enough perspective to be able to offer it forward to the rest of you, because it tends to be that's the one thing that we're missing: perspective, viewpoint, and understanding of what's to come and understanding of what the potential is. And when we're in the thick of young motherhood with young babies, what tends to happen, and I hear this over and over again from the women I speak with, is we lose ourselves. We really, really lose ourselves to this role of motherhood. We forget who we were before we had the kids. We forget who we are while we're having the kids, aside from, these labels of mother and spouse and daughter and everything like that. And the problem is when you come out of that, those murky years of rearing young children and try and reconnect with who you are, it can be extremely difficult. And for a lot of women, it causes a major, major shift and a major crisis point. So what we want to try and offer to all of you is the understanding of how that crisis point can be avoided and the pitfalls that you need to look out for. And remind you all how important it is to remember that you're still there, and that if you don't make the space for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you, right? Anything you want to see happen for yourself has to start from within. So the topic that we were assigned for MommyCon in Austin was balance and finding balance
in motherhood.
Yeah. Funny topic. Our instinct when we were first handed the choice, because they actually, I think we had suggested 2 topics and they gave us this one, and they were both like, oh, we couldn't have chosen the other one. Like, this is the toughest one to talk about. But actually was a remarkable opportunity for us to really sit down and look at what that word means, and is it possible to achieve balance in motherhood. Our instinct was really to say, no, there's no such thing, to be really sarcastic about it. There's no such thing. It's a ruse, it's a joke, it's impossible to find, it's an illusion. But we really want to look at this illusion and the way we understand it and see how we as mothers can find balance in our lives. Now, I would say Amy and I have found it.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, like, it's elusive, right?
but it's possible, it's doable, and that's kind of what we want to give you hope, but we need to define together what it means.
So there's a lot of challenges we all face, and this is where I'm going to ask for a little bit of participation. I know it's going to be exciting for everyone. Yeah. What are some challenges that you as mothers in 2016 face? You know, it's a modern mom, right? What are some of the challenges that you face?
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Did everyone hear that?
Having
Face-to-face interaction with other mothers.
With other mothers, yeah. And I mean, really, like, any positive interaction with other mothers sometimes is lacking. Right. Right. This is where is everyone here in Peace, Love, AppleCheeks? Yeah. Anyone not? Peace, Love, AppleCheeks. So there's a group on Facebook for the one who isn't in there called Peace, Love, AppleCheeks, and it's an amazing community. So she was just saying, you know, that interaction with other moms, it's so important to have positive, uplifting interactions.
And let's just put a name on what Jillian's talking about is isolation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Has anyone else felt isolated as a new mother?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't cry! So what are some other challenges you face as mothers in 2016? Full-time work. Oh wow, that's a great point. I remember at like a year old, which is what we have in Canada, a year maternity leave, feeling like, oh, it's just not quite enough, but then at like 18 months feeling like, okay, when do I go back? You know, like it's that weird, and then you feel like, you know, we do so much as women. You know, we carry many heavy burdens. You know, and I mean, they're delightful often too, you know, but many roles maybe. So, okay, very good. That's tricky, thank you. Anything else? Okay, judgment, great. So we're really gonna get into that. Judgment from ourselves too.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Andrew just said that.
Yeah.
Self-judgment.
Yeah. Self-judgment and judgment from other moms. And you know, something we'll touch on, but you don't have space in your life to be compassionate for other people if you're not compassionate with yourself. I'm gonna cry. With yourself. I have to one-up my sister. I'm not gonna cry. So, but it's true. The harsher, like so often when people are judgmental to you, it's a mirror unto their own lives. So try to, you know, just do your best to be compassionate towards that and to recognize it in your own lives too, right? To have compassion for yourself so that you don't fall into that trap of being too harshly judgmental on other people. We really strongly encourage that in our community, but please, like in our lives, in your lives too. Okay, anything else for challenges? Exhaustion.
Yeah, we don't have any solution to that one. I'm sorry, you're on your own there.
No, but it's true. Like, you got leaky boobs, leaky incisions, like your eyes are weeping at any given moment. It's, you know, it's
real.
Yeah.
It's really
real.
I
didn't sleep once through the night uninterrupted for 11 years. And
not to say that would be your situation.
No, that's 4 kids. Don't have 4 kids.
I had like 6 months in between a couple of my kids where I was able to sleep.
She's got 6, so she's on like year 18 of not sleeping through the night. So, you know, now when I sleep through the night, it's like a mirror, which is almost every night. Every morning I'm like, oh, it's amazing, right?
It comes back.
Yeah. But in the meantime, what do, right? You just have to
survive.
You just have to survive. And that, it's tough because we want to talk today about how to make room for yourself when most of the time you're in survival mode. So, okay. Some other challenges that we sort of came up with, and one I really want to touch on, is the Pinterestingly perfect mother that we all compare ourselves to. That might be like someone in pop culture like Alyssa Milano. My sister, she's pretty perfect. You know, it could be anyone. It could be
Erin with her cupcakes over there.
I know, right? Her hair, exactly. It could be your friends on social media. right? We have this lens of social media where everyone's life is perfect except yours.
And the fact is, like, even though you know that's not the case because you've been inside their homes and you've seen the mess, somehow that lens of social media overwrites
It still
your
plays with
rationale,
you.
your logic,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. So again, this comes back to don't judge yourself too harshly, you know? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and mine Bialik, if you wanted to
Oh,
say
yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, we don't
She didn't know how to
compare.
pronounce that, so. Okay. So the thing we have to really understand and make space for is that all these, like, actually, first thing I wanted to address was this is really the heart of our discussion, which I talked about with you. I don't think I said it in this room yet. I'm just losing track. We have reality and we have expectation, okay? Like they're two, think of them as two separate bubbles. Most of us actually live in that gray space in between the reality and the expectation, right?
Does everyone, your experiences of motherhood, your expectations and your reality, it's exactly the same,
They
right?
don't, right.
Right?
Right.
What you expected motherhood to look like, the goddess being reborn,
Yeah.
birthing this child, and the reality,
Yeah,
same, right?
exactly. Not a flower in my nose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what the whole purpose of this exercise here is we want to give you the words that will form the bridge between the expectation and the reality. So you need to understand the approach that we're trying to take is really to give you this gift of words that was given to us as well, so we can then take expectation and reality and make them one instead of two separate entities. So all this expectation and all these it's usually unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves that we really, we're setting ourselves up for failure. These are all false constructs. They're false gods that we put up on a pedestal and we witness. And the first thing we need to do in order to bridge that gap and to minimize that space is to bring awareness to the fact that we do that to ourselves, that we take this expectations, we put it up here on a shelf, too high for us to reach. We can't do that. We need to take that expectation and put it right down here and make sure.
Which doesn't mean settling. We're going to talk about that. It doesn't mean settling. Yeah.
So the first thing we really need to do, most critical thing, is we need to give ourselves permission to be ourselves. We need to give ourselves permission to mother in the way that best suits us and not in the way that is being held up there as the ideal, like with all those TV moms and everything. I mean, it's a big part of, I read a book recently and I saw my mothering paradigm laid out there. I've never seen it written exactly how I live my life pretty truthfully to myself and I don't make excuses for it, but to see it written out there as the mother who needs to pursue her own passions in order to be fulfilled, it gave me permission to continue being myself, to do that, exactly. Just seeing those words written there reminded me that I'm doing right by myself and subsequently doing right by my kids, and that was so important. So to be able to figure out where the spectrum is, permission is a huge gift that we give ourselves, and by offering it to ourselves, we can thereby extend it to the others around us.
Yeah. So I think part of that permission is, being compassionate to ourselves and others, but also allowing ourselves to ask, what kind of life do we want to live? Are we all too exhausted to look at that? Or do we have a moment to ask ourselves, what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want your life to look? I think that's really the key question that we sort of want to finish off with, is just ask yourselves, how do you want your life to look? And then, what needs to happen to make it look like that? This is not to overwhelm anyone, but to give yourself permission to be a priority. I remember when I started working out again after my first two babies, I felt so guilty about handing them off to someone so I could go work out, and I had to trick myself into saying, well, it's for their well-being in the long term that I'm healthy. Why does it have to be for them that I'm going to work out?
We justify it. We justify
Right.
and we justify, and just to have that whole discussion going, there should be no justification. We need to recognize the things that have to happen for ourselves in order for us to be able to fulfill the roles optimally and be the best mothers we can to our children.
And I think it has to be seen, like Ilana just said, it's a must.
Yeah.
When we
It's
make it like,
non-negotiable.
oh, I'm treating myself today or whatever, to time for yourself, to some sort of effort, to reading a book, whatever you can do that's just a little bit more for yourself, it's a need. So allow yourself that, make space for it, try to be proactive. What do you want for your life? What's stopping me from having that?
we can be amazing mothers without sacrificing ourselves to the cause.
Yes.
We don't need to be martyrs. We don't need to be sacrificial lambs. The truer we can live to our, it's true, right? That's what happens. We put ourselves out there on the block and say, here, take me at the expense of everybody else.
At the expense of everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, at the expense of ourselves for everybody else, you know? And it happens all the time, but we don't recognize we're doing it because we're not told, and we don't tell ourselves that there's another way to do it, you know? That it has to happen. I think Amy and I are prime examples of women who are following our passions and pursuits and living fully and doing all those things we need to do. And you know what's happening? We are setting examples for our children. We're showing them another paradigm. We're being, you know, we're being examples of how they can be. One example. They will see other examples. And
we're still very much there with our children. I was at Mary Poppins last night. Okay?
She loved it. She loved it.
No, I loved it. Yeah. You know, we're there for our kids. Yeah. You know, we're there for ourselves also, which frees us up to be there for others. Yeah. So we just encourage you to pursue your passions as needs, as musts in your lives.
As non-negotiables. Right.
And we look forward to seeing feedback on Peace Love AppleCheeks about how you're doing that, please.
Yes, we'd love to see, like Peace Love AppleCheeks, we're actually using it to a certain extent as research for our book because we need to have everybody else's perspectives and we need to know what your experiences are, and we need to have your words and your voices, because it's only by hearing how you are perceiving your situations can we understand the full picture and learn the state of motherhood. And also, the more you talk about what you're going through, and I'm not saying that not to complain necessarily, but to really lay the picture out as I am in this position, I need help getting out of it, because we've seen it so many times when a woman puts herself out there on Peace Love AppleCheeks, women come in to rush to support her. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's always a worst case crisis scenario either. It can be just like a day-to-day, I'm having a tough time with this. Help me with the perspective to work my way out of it, and it like works miracles. I mean, it's I can't remember what you know. If you're into sort of like esoteric stuff at all, it's not even esoteric. It's scientifically proven that the resonance of the heart, like how you can your heart's energies can be detected up 10 feet ahead of you, kind of thing, and they influence the rhythms of other people's hearts. I mean, it sounds like goofy, but it's not. It's science has documented this, but it really happens. Like how you live your life sets the stage for other people to live their lives the same way.
So let's pursue our passions as needs, and we really appreciate any feedback you have to offer on Peace Love AppleCheeks about what you thought of this today, but also just about how hopefully you're implementing these things in your lives, and how so we can learn and we can implement them more in our lives too.
As well, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.